Welcome back to my channel, and I'm back with a new story. How are you doing? I hope you are having an amazing day. If you're new to my channel, I'm Vera, but you can call me V, and I share amazing stories. And so if this is something you will love, please subscribe and like this video, and don't forget to turn on the notifications so that when I post, you'll be notified immediately. Today's shout out goes to Kepsi29 for being the first person to comment on my last video. Thank you so much for the support, babe. I love you. And now relax, get comfortable, and let's get right into it. I own a big wholesale shop in Kasoa. I sell provisions, bags of rice, sugar, milk, and everything in bulk. It is not an easy business. You need strength, trust, and people who don't steal from you. A few months ago, I was looking to hire new career boys, young men who help lift and carry heavy goods into customers' car. I've been robbed before, so I only hire boys I know or boys recommended by someone I trust. One hot afternoon, a skinny boy walked into my shop. He looked no older than 20. He wore worn-out slippers and held his hands together nervously. He said, "Please, madam, my name is Ahmed. I heard you are hiring career boys. I really need a job." I looked at him closely. He was so slim, like a broomstick. I shook my head. "No, you won't manage. The bags are heavy. You will break." He quickly said, "Madam, please, I know Daniel. He told me you were looking for someone. I can do the work. I am strong, I swear." I called Daniel, one of my trusted boys, and he confirmed it. "Yes, madam, he's my friend. He's a good boy." Still, I wasn't convinced. Ahmed saw my doubts, and that is when he fell to his knees, right there on the dusty floor of my shop. He started crying. He said, "Please, madam, both my parents are dead. I live with my grandma and my 3 younger siblings. She sells charcoal. Sometimes we go to sleep hungry. I need this job to help her." I was shocked. His eyes were red. His voice was shaking. Something in my heart melted. I said, "Fine, I'll give you a 2-month trial. If you do the work well, you will stay. But I won't tolerate laziness or stealing. Do you understand?" His whole face lit up like a bulb. He jumped to his feet and said, "Thank you, madam. I promise you I won't let you down." The next morning, Ahmed showed up before anyone else. He carried bags bigger than himself. Even when he struggled, he never complained. He always said, "Yes, madam." He always said, "Please, madam." He never argued, never talked too much, always quiet, always focused. After 1 month, I started thinking this boy is different. Maybe, just maybe, I had found a good one. But what I didn't know was that everything was about to change. It was a Sunday. We don't open the shop on Sundays, but I sometimes go there to take stock, check what is left, what is finished, and what I need to restock the next week. I always take 2 of my career boys with me to help. That Sunday, Daniel was supposed to come with one other boy, but the second boy had an emergency. Daniel said, "Madam, Ahmed is free. Should I bring him instead?" I hesitated for a moment, but I said yes. They came early and we got straight to work. While sorting items in the back warehouse, a customer came by to pay an old debt. He handed me 2,000 cedis in cash. I placed the bundle of money in the drawer in my office and locked it. Then I returned to the back to continue the stock count. About an hour later, we were all hungry. I gave Daniel money and told him to go to the nearby restaurant to buy food for all of us. After he left, I told Ahmed, "Go to the office and bring me the blue notebook on the table. The office is locked. Here is the key." He nodded, collected the key, and went in. A few minutes later, he came back quietly with a notebook and handed me back the key. We continued our work. About 30 minutes passed, and Daniel still hadn't returned with the food. He later called, saying there was a long queue. I was tired, so I decided to go to the office and finish my accounting while waiting. But when I opened the drawer to get my pen, the 2,000 cedis was gone. I blinked. I checked again. I opened every drawer. I even bent under the desk. Nothing. I froze. My heart started racing. I called out, "Ahmed, come here." He came, looking calm and quiet. I said, "Did you take anything from my office?" He shook his head fast. "No, madam. I only took the notebook like you said." I stared at him. You are the only one who entered that office. I put 2,000 cedis in that drawer. Now it is gone. His eyes grew wide. Madam, I swear on my life, I didn't take any money. You can check my pockets. He turned them inside out, empty. But the money was gone. And he was the only one who went into that office. My blood boiled. I screamed. If you don't bring my money now, you will regret ever entering my shop. He fell to his knees. Madam, please, I didn't take anything, I swear. Just then, Daniel walked in with the food. He asked, what is going on? I told him everything. Daniel looked at Ahmed, shocked. Ahmed, just give her the money. She won't call the police if you return it. But Ahmed kept crying. I didn't take anything. I didn't touch her money. That is when I lost it. I pushed him. I shouted. I felt used, betrayed. I had helped this boy, and this was how he repaid me. But I wasn't done. I picked up my phone and called my brother, a police officer. I just said 6 words. Come now. I have caught a thief. My brother arrived in just 20 minutes. Now let me tell you something about my brother. He doesn't like nonsense. He's a police officer. And once he believes you've done wrong, he doesn't waste time. He walked into the shop, saw Ahmed still kneeling and crying, and asked me, where is the thief? I pointed, that is him. He stole 2,000 cedis from my drawer and he's still lying about it. My brother turned to Ahmed, where is the money? Ahmed shook his head. Say, I didn't take any money, I swear to God. I only went in for the notebook. Slap. Just like that. My brother landed one hard slap across his face. Where is the money? He asked again. Ahmed held his cheek, already shaking. I didn't take it, he cried. Slap, slap, another two. Harder. This time, he stumbled back and hit the wall. His nose was bleeding. His eye was swelling. He still cried, still begged, but he never confessed. Search the shop, I shouted. He has hidden the money somewhere. Or maybe he passed it to someone. My brother grabbed him by the collar and pinned him to the wall. You better talk before I throw you into the cell and you rot there. But Ahmed kept crying like a child. Say, I didn't take it. Please, I didn't. I stood there watching him bleed, and all I felt was anger. I was angry at him for making me look like a fool, for betraying my kindness, for making me feel sorry for him in the first place. You will suffer, I said. You will remember this day for the rest of your life if you don't return my money. He was on the ground now, blood dripping, still shaking his head, still denying. That is when I said, take him to the station. My brother dragged him up. Ahmed tried to walk, but his legs were weak. As they pulled him out of the shop, he turned to me, crying, Madam, please, I didn't do it. I didn't care anymore. People were standing around and watching. I guess one of them went to call his grandmother because just then, someone else walked into the shop. It was his grandmother. She was tiny, so small and old. She looked like she could break from the wind. Maybe 90 years old, maybe more. She wore faded clothes, and her hands were black with charcoal. She walked with a limp. And as soon as she saw me, she fell flat on the floor in front of my feet. She grabbed my legs and cried, please forgive him. He's a good boy. He has never stolen anything in his life. Please, I beg you. Her tears soaked the dusty floor. Her voice cracked like someone in pain. But I was still angry. I said, he stole from me. If he brings my money, I'll let him go. If not, he will suffer. She cried harder. Her charcoal-stained hands were clutching my white trousers, leaving black smudges all over me. Please, please, don't let him sleep in the cell, she begged. I lost it. I shook her hands off me and pushed her away. Don't touch me, I shouted. Go and beg your thief of a grandson to confess. And then I walked out, entered my car, and drove off. I didn't feel guilt. I felt justified. After all, a thief must pay. But I had no idea I had just made the biggest mistake of my life. Hmm. That evening, I didn't go straight home. I had errands to run. I told myself I would call my brother later to check on Ahmed. But honestly, I didn't care. If he wanted to be stubborn, let him rot today. It was already dark when I finally got home around 8 p.m. As I drove toward the gates, I noticed the figure sitting quietly near the entrance. As I got closer, my heart sank. It was Ahmed's grandmother. She was bundled in a faded cloth, legs folded, backhand, just sitting there in the dark like a shadow. I could feel my anger returning. Why was she here? Why wouldn't this family just leave me alone? I was about to go down and shout when suddenly the main gate opened. It was my 10-year-old daughter. Every time she hears me coming home, she runs to the gate herself to open it. Then the old woman stood up and walked slowly to my car window. She pulled out a black polythene bag, stained, dirty, wrinkled, and stretched it toward me with shaking hands. She whispered, "It is the money, 2,000 cedis. Please let my grandson go." I froze. I opened the bag and saw bundles of dirty charcoal-stained money. She had actually come to pay me back. She didn't say much else. She stood quietly. I didn't respond. I didn't even look at her again. I just drove into the compound. Then I went to bed tired, angry, and ready to move on. I never called my brother back that night. I completely forgot to tell him to release Ahmed. And just like that, I slept. But what I didn't know was that night was only the beginning. The next morning, I woke up feeling better. I had completely forgotten about everything. I was getting ready for work. My daughter was in a uniform, preparing for school. She came into my room as usual, smiling. I reached for my handbag to give her some treats, small snacks I had taken from my shop the day before. I kept them under my bag, so I bent down and began digging through the bag. And then my heart stopped. There, under the snacks and wrappers, was a bundle of money, 2,000 cedis, neatly packed, untouched, still there. I stared at it frozen. No, this couldn't be. I looked again, counted it, 2,000 cedis. Ah, I hadn't put it in the drawer. I had put it in my bag. All this time, Ahmed had been innocent. I dropped the bag and held my head. My hands started shaking. I had beaten that boy, humiliated him, called the police, let his grandmother beg on the floor, took their charcoal-stained money, and the real money was with me the whole time. I had destroyed someone's life over a mistake I made. I picked up my phone and called my brother. His voice was calm. "Hello," I said. "I found the money. It was in my bag. Ahmed didn't steal it." There was silence. Then he said in a low voice, "Don't tell anyone." "What?" "You heard me. Don't say a word. If you talk, I will get into trouble for beating an innocent boy. And you will lose your business reputation. Just act like it never happened. Move on." And for some reason, I listened. I nodded slowly. Okay, I told myself the damage was already done. Ahmed would heal. His grandmother would move on. I would move on. So my brother just released Ahmed and warned him not to come close to my shop again. I never told another soul I had found the money. I thought it was all over, but the universe wasn't done with me yet. 1 week later, everything changed. I was at the shop when my daughter's school called. She had suddenly collapsed in class. She was having seizures, violent shaking and foaming at the mouth. They had rushed her to the hospital. My heart dropped. I raced there. She was unconscious, lying on the hospital bed like a doll, cold, still. The doctors did test after test. They found nothing. No infection, no injury. Maybe she ate something bad, they said. But her teachers insisted she had only eaten the snacks I packed for her. Later that evening, she woke up. She looked weak, but she was okay. I sighed in relief. Maybe it was just one of those strange things. But as I was driving her home, she screamed. Her eyes rolled back. She started shaking again. Another seizure. I turned the car around and rushed back to the hospital. They ran more tests. Still nothing. No diagnosis. No explanation. My daughter was my miracle child. Before I had her, I had suffered 5 painful miscarriages. I cried to God day and night. I fasted. I prayed. I begged. So when she finally came into my life, I promised I would do everything to protect her. And now it felt like she was slipping away, and I couldn't stop it. Every day she had more seizures, some small, some violent. Once she almost broke her neck from the way her body twisted. She couldn't walk alone anymore. We had to tie her to the hospital bed so she wouldn't fall and hurt herself. She didn't understand what was happening. She looked at me with tears in her eyes and whispered, "Mommy, make it stop." But I couldn't. She stopped eating, she stopped talking, she stopped smiling. My miracle baby was fading right in front of me. We went from hospital to hospital, from specialist to specialist, from prayer camps to churches. We prayed, we fasted, we cried, but the seizures continued. Every day she grew thinner, quieter, sadder, and at the back of my mind, I couldn't forget about Ahmed and his grandmother. Was it a curse? Was it karma? Did I bring this on my own child? I tried to push the thought away, but every time my daughter screamed in pain, it came back louder and louder in my head. Then one night, as I sat by a hospital bed, watching a tiny body shake and struggle, I broke. Tears filled my eyes, my hands trembled. I whispered to myself, this is my fault. I have to fix this. I have to go back. I have to ask for forgiveness. I couldn't take it anymore. My daughter was getting worse. The doctors had no answers. Prayer wasn't working. And deep in my heart, I knew the truth. I had wronged innocent people. It was time to do the one thing I should have done long ago, go back and beg. I called my brother and told him everything. Please, let's go together. We both need to ask for forgiveness. We took 5,000 cedis in cash and called Daniel, the boy who first brought Ahmed to me, to show us where they lived. When we arrived, my heart shattered. They weren't living in a house. They were living in a broken down kiosk. Old wood, half the wall missing, the other side covered with a torn blanket. Bags of charcoal leaned against the wall, and two small kids played outside, dirty, thin, and covered in charcoal dust. One of the kids ran inside and called out, Grandma, Grandma, visitors. Ahmed's grandmother came out slowly. Her clothes were even more faded now, her back more bent, her eyes sunken. When she saw me, she panicked. Please, she cried. Please go away. We don't want trouble. Ahmed has never been near your shop again. Please. But I didn't speak. Instead, I dropped to the ground. I went on my knees. Tears streamed down my face. I said, Mama, I am sorry. I wronged you. I wronged Ahmed. I found the money. It was in my bag. Ahmed never stole it. She froze. Then Ahmed came out from the kiosk. His face still had faint marks from the beating. He looked thinner, but his eyes were still full of pain. He saw me and said softly, You see, I told you, I don't steal. I never did. I burst into tears. I couldn't even look him in the eyes. Please forgive me, I said. Please, my daughter is dying. She's in pain every day. She hasn't smiled in weeks. I believe this is my punishment. I'm not asking for pity. I'm begging for mercy. My brother also knelt beside me. He said, I beat you. I judged you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me too. Ahmed stared at us in silence. The old woman looked confused and heartbroken. Then something beautiful happened. Ahmed walked to me, lifted me from the ground, and said, Madam, it is okay. I forgive you. This story. Then he turned to my brother, hesitated, but said, I forgive you too. I gave him the 5,000, but he shook his head. He said, We don't want all of it. We only want the 2,000 we gave you that day. That is all. He returned 3,000 cedis. Even in their suffering, they chose integrity. His grandmother came forward, holding her tears, and said, Always treat people the way you want to be treated. We may be poor, but we are still human. These children are all I have. They are good children. And then she whispered, I forgive you. I forgive you both. That day, I left with something I hadn't felt in weeks, hope. But I wasn't done yet. After they forgave us, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about the kiosk, the broken wood, the children sleeping next to charcoal bags, the 3,000 cedis they gave back to me, even though they clearly had nothing. I had more than enough. They had almost nothing. And yet, they were the ones who showed me what true dignity looked like. So I decided to do something. The next week, I sent builders to tear down their broken kiosk and put up a brand new one. Not just any kiosk, but a proper wooden structure with a roof that didn't leak and space for them to sleep comfortably. Then I bought a brand new mattress, a small TV set, a couch, bags of rice, oil, canned food, clothes, and shoes for the kids, Ahmed and their grandmother. And on top of it all, I gave them an extra 5,000 cedis in cash. When they saw everything, Ahmed's grandmother fell to her knees and cried like a baby. She couldn't believe it. Ahmed hugged me so tight, he was shaking. And the kids, they ran around the new kiosk like it was a palace. For the first time since this nightmare started, I felt peace. And then, just a few days later, something miraculous happened. My daughter was healed. Oh, she stopped having seizures. She started eating again. Her eyes lit up. She smiled. She laughed. She went back to school strong and healthy, just like before. No more hospital, no more fear. It was like a heavy curse had been lifted. Ahmed's life changed too. I later heard he used part of the money to start a Momo business, that is mobile money. He worked hard, saved up, and soon got his own small container shop. Not long after, he moved himself, his siblings, and his grandmother into a one-bedroom apartment. They were finally safe, finally living in dignity. About a year after it all happened, I was in town when I saw him. He was about to board a trotro. He looked good, healthy, well dressed, and confident. He saw me, smiled, and waved happily. That wave meant everything to me. This experience changed my life forever. I learned that kindness must be careful but never cruel. When we are wrong, we must admit it, no matter how painful. And most of all, what you do to the poor, God never forgets. Because one simple mistake nearly cost me my child. But forgiveness gave both of us a second chance. The end. Ah, this story. I don't want to cry. Sometimes all we need is a little bit of kindness and forgiveness. That is all we need. Let me hear your thoughts down below about this story. And Abi, you know that this is a judgment-free zone. We listen, we don't judge. So please be kind to her in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. And if you've not subscribed yet, please do. And also turn on the notifications. See you next time. I'm going to cry. Okay, I'm done. Bye.